traditions are something that really excite a lot of people, bind them together. You look forward to those trips, you bring back old memories of other ones, and hunting season is no different. There's a lot of tradition in hunting season, and you know, the Wendlandt Ranch holds a special long-term history and memories for us. I mean, we've I don't know how many years in a row in the first of October we've hunted up here, but it's a long time, and we look forward to those types of hunts. And it's just, you know, we've killed some big deer and we've killed some little bitty deer, and you know, we just shot does at times. We've had great success, and the weather's got us at others. But as I look back on all those now, you get, you know, the trip is now as much about, man, we're gonna get some venison in the freezer and maybe shoot a big one, as it is about everything that goes into that week. And that week to us is, we get up to this old house. It's been there for well over 100 years, and you know, our meals are wide ranging. You know, we're gonna have a fish fry, fish we've caught somewhere during the year. We're gonna grill steaks. We're gonna eat some venison Salisbury steaks that Angel's made and sent up with us, some fudge brownies, some apple pies. We're gonna watch football in an attic that's surrounded by deer that have been shot on this property and many others, and hear those stories and relive them. You know, we're gonna probably sit outside and tell lies and pitch washers or play cornhole, and we're definitely gonna play golf. You know, that's something that we all like to do this week, despite the fact we're not the best golfers in the world. We think we are this week. But it all ties into deer hunting at the end of the day. We're here because we love to deer hunt, and that deer hunting opening weekend tradition brings us all together to enjoy all those other things. When it comes to these opening weekend hunts, sometimes I'm trying out new products. Last year we had the new Garmin Zero crossbow scope. We were shooting it with a brand new 10-point crossbow. This year I've kind of gone back into the archives to break out the 44 mag from the Performance Center. It's the Stealth Hunter model. We've had this model for a long time. It's been out on the market for a long time, and it is a popular handgun for a lot of people. That handgun, it's well balanced. It's got very comfortable grips that you can get a hold of for practicing on the range when you're trying to sight it in. It's got a very integral rail up on top to suit a wide range of sights and optics. I'm actually shooting the Trijicon SRO red dot right now. I like that sight because it's very easy to acquire the target. You've got a big field of view with it, and I think that's probably the best thing that I like about it, is I can see a lot of what's going on around it, because deer are always moving. You always want to be sure you're a target, and that really allows me to acquire it very fast. I can adjust the size of the dot to fit my eye for what I'm doing. You know, it's just an easy to use sight that's durable, and it's going to perform well while it's out in the field. And the 44, I mean, that's such a well-known legendary cartridge, been around forever. Lever action rifles to handguns, depending on what you want to set it up and shoot it with. The 44, I mean, it is a proven cartridge that has stood the test of time. Now, there's a lot of different bullets to choose from out there that I think people have to spend time with, a lot of different loads. The 44 is a very popular hand load. A lot of people reload them, but there's a wide range of factory loads out there. And I think if you match it up for the size of game, the weight, the bullet grains, what you're looking for, you're gonna be impressed with the 44, and you shoot it out of this Performance Center Stealth Hunter, you're gonna love the results.
Find out more about the Smith & Wesson Performance Center Stealth Hunter by heading over to smith-wesson.com. When we return, we'll meet up with Wade for his opening weekend handgun hunt. We're joining Wade on the Wendlandt Ranch for an opening day handgun hunt as he sets out in his Yamaha Wolverine.
You know, this week for me, I'm gonna be hunting out of the Yamaha Wolverine 1000 limited edition here. It's a cool one, it's blue, it's got movable seats, you know, which really sets up nice for families that need 4 seats, but also works great for your hunters, ranchers, because you can move these seats all the way up and got plenty of room in the bed for camera gear, hunting gear, and hopefully to put a deer in there if you're a deer hunter. Very functional, very comfortable unit. It features that sport trail crawl mode that I absolutely love, because I can adjust that based off if I'm in a hurry to go somewhere. You can go in the sport mode. Trail, you got that nice smooth, you know, running while you're kind of going in these ranch roads, and crawl when we get in that rough terrain where we just want a nice smooth throttle and control of it. A very, very good unit for all types of usage. I think that's why it's such an appealing unit for a lot of people to look at and use, because of its diversity. You know, whether you're, you know, in an off-road trail group with 4 people, you're hauling the family around in a hunting camp, or it's just you and a buddy, or you by yourself, it's a real functional unit with a lot of features. Early October deer hunting in Texas can range from 105 to, about 65 really. You're not gonna get too cold early in October in Texas. The deer are just coming out of velvet generally. They're gonna have that mood and that kind of feeling when they first come out of velvet. The bucks are feeding up during this time of the year. They're hitting the acorns, they're hitting feeders, they're hitting any type of mass crop they can find, trying to bulk up. This is that time of the year you can really start to define what a deer looks like, how his age class is. They start setting up that pecking order. You see these deer, they're no longer friends starting to be this time of the year. They've all been buddies all summer long, but about 2-3 weeks ago, those friendships tend to end as they get into the rut. You start hearing them snort wheeze, you start seeing them posture, you start seeing fights, you start seeing that entire pecking order start to develop, and it really changes the dynamics of how deer act.
A few hours into the hunt, a buck Wade spotted on some scouting cameras days before has shown up, and Wade knew this was the buck he was after.
Scouting cameras have been a part of my life in hunting for several decades now. I don't understand why there are certain states now that are kind of blocking and banning that, because I believe the scouting camera are one of the most important management tools that you can find. Not only does it help you tell about your herd health, it helps you identify specific characteristics on deer that are going to allow you to say, man, that's him. And sometimes you only have a few seconds to be able to identify a deer if he's just passing by that's him. And a scouting camera is going to give you some data, whether it's a cell camera or whether it's one you pull the card from and go back and look at. It's going to give you data to help identify unique characteristics. Because there are times of the year it's difficult to tell what's a mature deer and what's not. So through all that data and looking at all the unique characteristics, you can quickly and easily identify a deer. So this particular deer, this 10-point, was one of several that Scott had talked about, of the age class they like to shoot. They've got some specific rules on this property on what they like to shoot, and we've respected that for years, and I respect that because we do it on our deer leases. And by having the scouting camera pictures, we were able to pick a couple of deer that we saw pass by this morning out really easily. One was a 9-point with a big busted up jaw here, probably an impacted deer, and then this really unique 10-point that Scott had seen on camera. I mean, had a deep fork on his right side, and I mean, once I saw the fork, I was like, wow, that's one of the deer that Scott had talked about that he got it on camera. And that's why scouting cameras are so important, to help you share data, I think, in a lot of situations. Doesn't mean everybody's got to use them, but I sure love the data they provide.
Will Wade have the opportunity to get a shot on the 10-point? Find out when we return. Wade has a 10-point buck in his sights on the opening weekend of hunting season. However, he keeps moving around. Won't give Wade enough time for a shot.
opening morning hunt, we usually see, 20 deer and stuff, and that guy there really captivated my attention. I mean, you can see the big mule deer fork on his right-hand side. 10-point mainframe 10 with mule deer fork. It always takes me a second to get caught back up on my breathing there. I mean, he kind of milled over here, and they were fighting. You could hear them snort whizzing. You could see the does fighting, and the whole 9 yards. There's a little bit of acorns. We threw a little bit of corn out, some persimmons right here in front of me. And they were just posturing as they do right when they first come, the season starts. And I got cocked barely. I mean, I had a doe over here watching me the whole time when he first came by. And I mean, we got busted. Yeah, that happens. We just maintain patience and shooting the old 44 there. I'm hoping, he kicked and he kind of acted hurt running down through there. I lost everything when I pulled the trigger. Yeah, the shot felt good. I mean, I felt like I had the red dot right where I needed to. I'm shooting that SRO Trigicon, and it's got a big sight picture. And I mean, he gave me a perfect broadside shot. If I missed or made a bad shot, it's on me because everything else was perfect. Now, that's that thing after you shoot, and I go through these emotions every time. I mean, the shot felt good. Red dot was right in that area where I felt like I wanted to be. And, I mean, I had a good brace. I mean, that's probably not, heck, we can see, heck, now I'm shaking like a leaf. I can't get everything. Let's put that over there. I mean, I ranged that earlier just to know. And, it's 34 yards to where I shot at him at. I mean, that's a shot that I practiced and I felt good at. Everything felt perfect, but in deer hunting, you can slap that trigger so easy. You get your emotions, and I practice as much or more than anybody, but until I touch them, I'm always nervous. And I mean, and what happens when you get in some of these hunts where there's a lot of deer and you're getting busted and you've had a lot of eyeballs looking at you, you can make that quick pull trigger. I don't think I did. I felt good, but you never know. So, that's why you practice, to go through the emotions, to go through, trying to find that zone and get everything set up to where you can get set in. And, I've got a little SME shooting brace here, and my whole thing was, to take the 44 and really, kind of get settled in. And man, I mean, I got settled in. I can still see vividly the shot. He was broadside. And when I had him over here, the first time I saw him, I mean, you saw him, he stamps, he kind of jumps and runs and blows. I mean, and there's a half a dozen other bucks running through here. It got to be a little bit of a zoo there. Whew, just hope you do right by the deer. That's the only thing once you pull the trigger. Oh, we looked at the footage. I mean, I'm mid-body, good up and down, back a little bit. We're gonna go back, eat breakfast, and give that deer, a little bit of time. I mean, that's a mortal wound, that deer. But you gotta do the right thing based on where the hits are too. You can't just go traipsing down through the woods. We've made those mistakes before. That deer we're gonna recover that deer. So that makes me feel good. I was just back a little bit left, and I was really, I mean, in my mind, as I play back my shot, I hit up and down pretty much where I was aiming at, and I pulled the shot a little left. And that's honestly my miss. I tend to, when I get a little excited and I go too fast, I tend to punch and pull a little bit left. I work on it all the time, but it's been my miss since I was a little kid. And I don't call it a miss. I mean, it's my tendency on how I do it. This was an intense, incredible hunt. I love the traditional opening day trips that we get to go on, and the camp life and the whole 9 yards, and that was a pretty intense one right there. I mean, you can kind of see the terrain here. It's a little ridge with a little wet weather creek that runs down to a pond, and it's got a few scattering oak trees and some persimmons and just your typical brush for this part of Texas, and just doesn't get a whole lot better than that till we get the hands on that deer, and that'll make it even better.
Oh, that's pretty good blood there.
Right there.
That's a lot of blood for the where he was standing.
Yeah. Why do we always have to track deer on opening day, Clark? Every year.
It's just kind of a.
It's all my.
Yeah,
all my fault.
At
least he didn't blame me.
It's tradition.
Yeah, it is. Well, and so that's the whole theme to this show. It's tradition.
Well, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good theme to have, my mind.
I like looking up. I mean, sometimes we just look up, we get lucky, don't we?
I just like when it works that way.
Everybody else is looking down. I just happen to look up. I know my eyes aren't as good.
No, we got the blood trackers here. We're the visual spotters.
Well, we had such a good view of him, Jeff and I did, when he was running. We knew running out, and we went back to go eat, which is the right thing to do. And there he is.
I mean, he didn't go very far.
No, he didn't go very far at all. That worked good. Oh, that's awesome. That's just another good opening day hunt. Wow.
I
what a
love
deer.
opening day. There's nothing like getting it started. Got a little cloud cover, which is pretty rare for us. Let's go see this deer.
Great ending to a good hunt. That's what you want right there. That deer probably 120, 150 yards from the impact, and just piled up. I felt like my shot was actually that's cool. It's still got a little velvet and a little channel right there. I felt like my shot was just a little back and a little high, but obviously it got the lungs and got it done. That's what you're asking for. That's the great way to start another Texas deer season. It's our traditional opening and plan to come over here and eat little smokies and grill and fry fish, play golf, and hopefully fill the freezer with venison. And so far we're doing pretty good on that plan. What a cool deer.
Congrats, Wade, on a great 10-point while continuing the traditions of opening day. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries. Yeah, we'll see you next time.